I'm here to talk about my favorite subject, myself. I requested more time for my presentation. That request was denied, so I will be up here for a total of 5 minutes to talk about this. For longest time in my life, I was really always concerned about being like the smart kid, This you see my Head Start graduation photo, little styrofoam bowl here, paper, little ribbon there, celebration. Moving on in life, I really continued accomplishments of great things. If you came to the Carmi, Illinois McDonald's about 1992, this is the face that would have greeted you as the employee in the back. But as one of the only males to ever break that glass, whatever you want to call it, between the grill and the front, I was up front giving people out their food. Isn't that amazing? So I've always struggled with this desire to want to prove myself. Now, it doesn't always work out so well. So, for example, when I was a child and I stood behind a horse and I got kicked by that horse, people stood over me and said, "Hey, man, you can't stand behind a horse. They get scared and they kick you." From the ground, I said, "Thanks. I really appreciate that." This continued as I grew older, and it continued to learn new things, sometimes the hard way. So, for example, when I was a 20-something, meeting my new girlfriend's family, getting stuff out of the attic for Christmas, I did not know that you're supposed to stand on the studs, and I stepped on the drywall, and I fell through the ceiling. When you grow up in a trailer, you don't know what it's like to go up into an attic, and when you do go up into that attic, you learn the hard way sometimes. That life gets pretty complicated. This was the first experience I had with great formative feedback. My favorite educational leaders, John Hattie and Rick Stiggins, taught me that if you do something enough times and get some important feedback, falling through the ceiling, excellent way to get feedback. You don't do it again. For real, though, when you go through these experiences, the most important thing for you to grasp is that as soon as you think you've got things figured out, something's going to happen to show you that you, in fact, do not. Whether it's climbing into the attic, whether it's standing behind a horse, we need to know this. Max Kepler, outfielder for the Minnesota Twins, actually from Germany, did you know that? Max Kepler, 2 days apart, these events occurred. An amazing catch to rob someone of a home run, bashing into the center field fence. Another, him tripping while trying to throw the ball into the infield. Rather than talking about this as something that, like, hey, but don't forget about my great catch, he actually put on his own Instagram the video of him falling and tumbling and making a very bad throw, saying, look, this is the way life goes. If you can't laugh at yourself, then really life is going to be a struggle for you. This is true, and it's empirically true. Arnie Kann, who's a professor formerly at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, has done numerous studies about the value of humor, and being able to laugh at yourself is something that's extremely important. Now, we as principals have a lot of great models to live up to and look up to. I know that Dean Vernon from the Breakfast Club was not actually a principal, but he's got to be on this slide, so there he is. And we like to think of our job as something where we stand out, we're the ones that are really running the show. However, what's really important for all of us to constantly remember is that if we feel like we need to be the smartest person in the room, or if we think we are the smartest person in the room, then we are definitely in the wrong room, because we ourselves have to be surrounded by people that are better than us in order for us to significantly improve, which means we always need to be on the lookout for people that are better than us. You may have heard this phrase before. I did not make it up, but I love it. First-rate people hire first-rate people. Second-rate people hire third-rate people. Think about that for a second. If you feel the need to surround yourself with people who are not as good as you are, your institution is not going to grow the way it needs to. There has to be some kind of growth. All kinds of leaders have used this method. All kinds of leaders, good ones, bad ones, they know that if they're effective, they're going to have the support and the people around them that are lifting up the organization. No better example of this. Perfect opportunity that we're in Springfield. Abraham Lincoln, best example of this, who not only took his political rivals and put them on his cabinet, knowing that they were going to disagree with him constantly, but put their better advice than his own heart into practice as often as he could. Like the A-Team, all of us need groups of people like this. We all need somebody who's that really good-looking, suave person to convince people, the older, wise guy, the person who intimidates people through force, and a crazy guy who knows how explosives work. All of these areas are areas that I have somebody I can turn to who knows far more than I do at my school about any of these topics, all of them. Anytime something comes to me, I have people that I turn to ask. These are those people, these are the folks that are the reason that I would ever receive any kind of recognition for anything. And that is something I never take for granted, thinking about every single day, and I know you do too. Who are those people that humble you, that remind you of this. And the most important thing is I need to make sure everybody knows this is the only place I'm saying this. I need you to not say anything, particularly to the National Association of Secondary School Principals who have not yet made their determination of who the National High School Principal of the Year is. Thank you, everybody.